Most people over 60 are told the same thing. Walk more, and your cholesterol will come down. It sounds sensible. It sounds safe. But here is what nobody tells you. Walking alone does not lower the cholesterol number that decides whether you keep your independence. When researchers pool the walking trials together, the change in bad cholesterol is usually small enough that they call it clinically modest. Lipid clinics see this every single week. A person walks faithfully for 6 months and the bad cholesterol number barely moves at all. Today I will give you 5 things that do move that number, ranked from 5 down to 1, and I will explain the one mechanism that almost no 12-minute appointment has time to cover. The number one item on this list is something almost nobody talks about, even though it costs about 15 cents a day. Stay with me until the end, because that one can change how you approach the next 10 years. Here is why your doctor probably told you to walk. Walking is safe, it is free, and it genuinely helps your heart in other ways. It lifts your good cholesterol a little, it brings your triglycerides down. Those are real wins, and I want you to keep walking every day. But the appointment ends before anyone has time to explain that bad cholesterol answers to a completely different lever. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. Everything on today's list is food first. 2 of them cost less than a cup of coffee a week. And the stake here is not a number on a page. Cholesterol builds quietly inside the arteries that feed your legs and your brain. That is the difference between walking to your own mailbox at 82 and waiting for somebody else to bring it to you. So tell me in the comments what your last bad cholesterol number was and how old you are. I read those and they tell me exactly who is watching. Now the mechanism, and please stay with me here. Most of the cholesterol in your blood was never eaten. Your liver made it, and your liver also decides how much to pull back out of your blood. So the real question is not how much cholesterol you swallow. It is how hard your liver is working to clear it. Think of your liver as the recycling plant at the end of a long street. Cholesterol travels down that street in delivery trucks, and the plant sends receptors out to bring those trucks back in. Walking does not add receptors to the plant. What adds receptors is anything that forces the liver to spend its own cholesterol. Empty the plant's shelves, and it goes hunting through your bloodstream to restock. Please do not skip this section. It is the key to everything that follows because every single item on this list works by emptying those shelves. If this is already making sense to you, tap the like button so more seniors can find it. That one tap is the whole reason this video reaches somebody's father this week. Number 5. A small handful of almonds every single day. Not mixed nuts, not honey roasted, not a jar you finish in one sitting. So why would a handful of nuts do what an hour of walking cannot? Almonds work on 3 fronts at the same time. They carry unsaturated fat that replaces the saturated fat sitting in your usual snack. They carry natural plant sterol, which competes with cholesterol at your gut wall. And they carry fiber that traps bile on its way out. Picture bile as a bucket of soap your liver builds from cholesterol, and almonds as a sponge that carries part of it out the door. Controlled feeding trials at several universities have tested almonds against a matched snack for months at a time. The bad cholesterol drop is consistent, in the range of 3 to 5%. Here is the dose. 1.5 ounces a day, which is about 1/3 of a cup, or roughly 35 almonds. Weigh it out once on a kitchen scale so your hand learns the size. Eat them in place of something else, never on top of it, because that dose carries about 250 calories. Timing matters less than consistency, but mid-afternoon works best, because that is when the biscuit tin starts calling. Give it 8 weeks before you judge it, because cholesterol changes need time to appear in a blood test. If your teeth or your dentures make almonds hard work, use 2 level tablespoons of plain almond butter instead. Buy the kind whose label lists almonds and nothing else. If you have any difficulty swallowing, stop the whole nuts entirely and stir the butter into yogurt. And if you have ever had a nut allergy reaction, this item is not for you at all. Pair the almonds with a piece of fruit that still has its skin on. The fiber in the skin and the sterols in the nut work on the same gut wall from 2 directions. A pear and a small handful of almonds is one of the cheapest cholesterol plays in your kitchen. But almonds have a ceiling. They can only trap so much bile in a day, and past that handful, you are adding calories. Item 4 raises that ceiling with something that costs about 40 cents a serving and fills you up instead. Number 4, one serving of beans or lentils every day. Kidney beans, black beans, chickpeas, red lentils, it does not matter which. Beans carry a kind of fiber that dissolves into a gel inside your gut. That gel grabs bile acids and carries them out with the waste, instead of letting your body reuse them. Your liver then has to build new bile, and the only raw material it has is cholesterol. So it reaches into your bloodstream and pulls cholesterol out to pay that bill. Go back to the recycling plant and picture beans as the truck that hauls the shelves away every night. This is one of the better studied foods in all of nutrition science. Pooled analyses of dozens of trials put the bad cholesterol reduction near 5%. That is real for something you eat with dinner. Aim for 3/4 of a cup up to 1 full cup of cooked beans daily. Canned is fine and just as effective, but drain and rinse them for a full minute to remove most of the added salt. Start at 1/4 cup a day for the first week, then a half cup in the second week, then your full serving. That slow ramp is the difference between staying with this and quitting on day 3. The common error is treating beans as a side dish once a week, which does nothing. This is a daily food, or it is not a treatment. If gas or bloating is your worry, choose lentils and split peas first, because they are gentler than kidney beans. Soak dried beans overnight and throw the soaking water away. If you get real pain rather than mild bloating, stop and go back down to a 1/4 cup. And if you have been told to follow a low-potassium diet for your kidneys, talk to your doctor before making beans a daily habit. Pair your beans with the almonds from item 5. In the same day, not the same bowl. One works on bile, the other works on the gut wall and on the fat you are replacing. Together they do more than either does alone. Still, beans and almonds both work downstream, after cholesterol is already in your gut. Item 3 blocks it before it ever crosses into your blood, and it is the only item on this list with a heart claim printed on the package. Item number 1, though, does both jobs at once, and it is the one I keep coming back to. Number 3. 2 grams of plant stanols or sterols, taken with a meal. These are sold as fortified spreads, fortified yogurt drinks, and plain tablets. Plant sterols look almost identical to cholesterol, close enough to fool your gut. Your intestine has a limited number of seats on the bus that carries fat into your blood. When sterols fill those seats, cholesterol is left standing at the curb and leaves with the waste. This is the only item today that blocks absorption directly. Everything else on this list pulls from the other end. This one has been studied for decades, and European and American heart guidelines both acknowledge it. At 2 grams a day, trials consistently show bad cholesterol falling by around 8 to 10%. That is why these packages are allowed to carry a heart health claim at all. The dose is 2 grams a day, and the label will say it plainly. Take it with your largest meal, because it only works where fat is being absorbed. Taken on an empty stomach, it does almost nothing for you. Split it if you like, 1 gram at lunch and 1 gram at dinner, which works slightly better than one single dose. Going above 3 grams a day adds no extra benefit, so please do not double up hoping for more. Give this one 4 weeks because it shows up faster than the others. If you are already on a statin, this stacks with it rather than replacing it, and the combination is well tolerated. Never lower or stop a statin on your own, and if you take any prescription heart medication, talk to your doctor before adding this. Sterols can slightly reduce how much beta-carotene you absorb, so keep a colored vegetable at the same meal. And if you notice new digestive upset that lasts more than a few days, stop and check in with your doctor. Pair the sterol dose with your bean serving at dinner. One blocks cholesterol coming in, the other drags bile out. That is a pincer movement, and it is far stronger than either half alone. But sterols only guard the doorway. They cannot touch the cholesterol your own liver is busy manufacturing right now, and for most people over 60, that is the bigger source. Item 2 turns that production line down. Number 2, replace the butter on your plate with extra virgin olive oil, not add it, replace it. Think for a moment about what actually went onto your toast this morning. Saturated fat is the single strongest dietary switch for your bad cholesterol. It tells your liver to pull its receptors off the surface and stop collecting the delivery trucks. Fewer receptors means more cholesterol circling in your blood. Go back to the recycling plant one more time. Saturated fat is the note taped to the door that says, "Do not accept deliveries today." This is not a fringe idea at all. Replacing saturated fat with olive oil and other unsaturated fats is one of the most consistent findings in cardiovascular nutrition, supported by controlled feeding studies going back 50 years. Use 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil a day in place of the butter, the hard margarine, or the coconut oil you were using. Drizzle it onto vegetables after cooking because the flavor and the plant compounds survive better without high heat. Buy it in a dark bottle and use it up within 3 months of opening. The error almost everyone makes is adding olive oil on top of the butter, which just adds 400 calories. So swap the spread on your toast, swap the fat in your pan, and swap the dressing on your salad. 3 swaps, 1 bottle, every day. If plain oil on bread does not appeal to you, use a soft spread whose first listed ingredient is a liquid vegetable oil. If cooking has become tiring, keep a bottle with a pouring spout beside the table and use it cold on whatever arrives on your plate. Anyone who has had gallbladder surgery or who gets pain after fatty meals should introduce this slowly at 1 tablespoon a day. And if a fatty meal brings on pain under your right ribs, stop and speak to your doctor before continuing. Pair the oil with the beans from item 4. Dress a bowl of lentils with olive oil, lemon, and black pepper, and you have 3 of today's 5 items in a single dish. That bowl costs less than $2 to make. So we have blocked absorption, hauled the bile away, and turned the production line down. What is left is the one lever that does all 3 jobs at once and does them harder than anything else you can buy without a prescription. That is item number 1, and it is next. Number 1. And this is the one almost nobody talks about. Viscous soluble fiber taken in a real dose, specifically psyllium husk and oat beta-glucan. Here is why this sits at the top of the list. Viscous fiber does not simply pass through you. It dissolves into a thick gel, and that gel changes the physics of your entire digestive tract. Bile acids get trapped inside it and leave your body instead of being reabsorbed and used again. Your liver loses its bile supply, so it has to build more, and cholesterol is the only brick it can build with. To find that cholesterol, your liver puts more receptors on its surface and pulls harder from your blood. That is the same lever a statin pulls, approached from the other side of the wall. Go back to the recycling plant one last time and picture a gel that quietly empties the shelves every single night, so the plant sends its trucks out hunting every single morning. Cholesterol is not a moral failing. It is not simple bad luck. It is a supply and demand problem, and demand is the half you control. This is not folk wisdom. Psyllium has been through dozens of randomized controlled trials, and health authorities in both the United States and Europe permit a heart health claim for oat beta-glucan. Across those trials, 10 grams of psyllium a day lowers bad cholesterol by roughly 7 to 10%, and the oat data sits in the same neighborhood. So here is the full protocol, and please write this one down. Start with 1 level teaspoon of psyllium husk, which is about 3 grams once a day. Stir it into a full 8-ounce glass of water, drink it immediately before it thickens, then drink a second glass of plain water straight afterwards. That second glass is not optional. Stay at 1 teaspoon for a full week. In week 2, move to 1 teaspoon twice a day. In week 3, move to 2 teaspoons twice a day, which brings you to roughly 10 to 12 grams. Alongside that, eat 3/4 of a cup of dry rolled oats at breakfast, or 1/2 cup of oat bran, which delivers about 3 grams of beta-glucan. Take your psyllium at least 2 hours away from any prescription tablet, because the gel can slow how quickly medication is absorbed. The error almost everyone makes is starting at the full dose on day 1, feeling bloated, and quitting by Friday. Now the safety, and this matters more here than anywhere else today. If you have any difficulty swallowing, do not take powdered psyllium at all, because it thickens very fast. Use whole oats and cooked barley instead, and you will still get real benefit. If you have ever been told you have a narrowing anywhere in your bowel, do not start this without your doctor. If you take insulin or any diabetes medication, this fiber can lower your blood sugar as well. So ask your doctor about checking your numbers more often. And if you get abdominal pain or you stop passing wind, stop immediately and call your doctor rather than pushing through it. Pair your morning oats with a spoon of psyllium and a small handful of the almonds from item 5. Then put your 2 grams of stanols on the dinner plate beside your beans. That is 4 of today's 5 items landing inside the same 24 hours, and they do not compete with each other. They work on different parts of the same loop, which is exactly why stacking them beats doing any single one of them perfectly. And now the promise I made to you at the start. Walking is a wonderful thing, and I want you doing it every day because it protects your legs, your mood, and your blood pressure. But walking never once asks your liver to go hunting for cholesterol, and this does every single night while you sleep. A teaspoon of husk and a bowl of oats for about 15 cents a day, pulling the very same lever a prescription pulls. Consider a typical case documented in the cardiac rehabilitation literature. A 74-year-old woman arrives with bad cholesterol at 172. She has walked 5,000 steps a day for 3 years without missing a week. Her walking has not moved that number at all, and she has just been told again to walk more. Her program changes nothing whatsoever about the walking. She adds 1 cup of lentils at dinner and swaps her butter for 2 tablespoons of olive oil. She builds psyllium up over 3 weeks to 2 teaspoons twice a day. She eats oats every morning with a small handful of almonds on top. 12 weeks later, her bloods are repeated. Her bad cholesterol has come down by about 22%. Her waist is down by 1 belt hole, which she did not expect at all. She reports that the change she cares about most is not the number. It is that she stopped feeling hungry at 11 o'clock every morning, and she is still doing all of it a year later. So let us make this simple, because a list you cannot start tonight is only entertainment. Here are 5 steps, and every one of them has a number attached to it. Tonight, do 2 things that take 5 minutes. Put 1 bag of psyllium husk and 1 container of rolled oats on your shopping list. Then take the butter off the table and set 1 bottle of extra virgin olive oil in its place. Tomorrow morning, eat 3/4 of a cup of dry oats and put a small handful of almonds on top. That is item 1 and item 5, both done before 9 o'clock. This week, start psyllium at exactly 1 level teaspoon in a full glass of water with a second glass behind it. Hold that dose for 7 days before you raise it. Rushing this step is the single most common reason people quit. This week, add 1/4 cup of beans or lentils to 1 meal each day. Raise it by 1/4 cup every week until you reach 1 full cup. Within 2 weeks, add 2 grams of plant stanols to your largest meal, and read the label to be sure it says 2 grams. Then in 12 weeks, ask your doctor to repeat your lipid panel. 12 weeks is when the honest answer arrives, not 3. Think of someone in your life who has been walking faithfully for years and cannot understand why their cholesterol will not move. It might be a parent, or it might be the person who reads those results out loud to them. Send them this video because 5 minutes of it may save them another wasted year. And tell me in the comments which of these you are starting tonight. Your answers decide exactly what I cover next. If you want the science that a 12-minute appointment never has time for, subscribe to this channel. That is the entire mission here, nothing more. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. I'm Kenji Vance. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.